let me compliment Mukesh Bhai and Kinshuk Jha. It's a wonderful book. Wonderful, I say, because it's a compendium. The subtopics under each category is a classic innovation because it's extremely detailed. If somebody wants to know a broader picture of how tax administration works in India, this can be recommended as a good guiding book. I can vouch for that. It is very good in terms of the pick and the flow and the sequence. So congratulations, and I only wish more people read and benefit out of it. Now, answering your question on the three verticals, you may be surprised with this answer, but that's the reality. Of the three organs under the Constitution, legislature, bureaucracy, executive, and the judiciary, today, the organ which is more proactive towards the assessee is the judiciary. You will be surprised, but that's a fact. 10 years back, it's very difficult for an assessee to get an order in his favor. Now, it is very difficult for a revenue counsel to stand up and impress a court and get an order in his favor. This is a huge shift. So the pressure point is now the judiciary when it comes to at least tax laws. You can find out, earlier it was 8 out of 10, revenue used to succeed. Now slowly the number is reducing. So judges are quite pragmatic, very justiciable. This is one thing which is happening now. Two, when it comes to legislature, you amend the law only out of necessity. Income Tax Act has been amended a few thousand times and to get over a few hundred and few thousand judgments. So, who is the cause? It can't be the executive every time. Many times it's because innovations of the assessee. So that's the role legislature plays. Now, executive certainly can be a better facilitator. It's an expectation, time-long expectation, I can say. Things are changing a lot and things can change a lot. I have to say that. It can change a lot and it is changing to a great extent because now we can't afford, bureaucrats can't afford to lay back and say courts will take care of their interests. Courts are not taking care of their interests. People are summoned for contempt so easily by courts if you violate a court order. So bureaucracy is also now tuning up to these types of requirements. So this is the broader picture. But when you come to the microscopic details, because I have been in the assessee side for 30 years and a government counsel as an ASG in the last 2 years, having seen both, let me place 2-3 things which is a matter of interest. See, at page 52 of the book, it extracts the charter. And one of the rights is having a just and a fair system is one of the rights. I can tell you something which happened today in the court. You will be surprised that these are all happening now. It's all not because you wrote a charter in 2020. Charter in 2020 only reflects the state of mind and the progress that is happening in the country. It's a reflection point. You should understand it that way. See, we had a huge challenge of 90,000 notices in the last 1 year issued between the old 148 and the new 148A. Supreme Court is yet to release the final order, but it indicated today 10 high courts have passed orders against the government. But it took a very pragmatic approach under Article 142 to say, we will deal all these 148 notices as a notice issued under 148A. And we will allow this to progress only under the new regime. So, being just and fair, if somebody is trying to be unjust, there is a system which is ready to correct it. That is something happening within the scope or the ambit of the charter. 90,000 notices, it said you will still progress it only under the new law. So order is yet to be released, but it has come. Now this is one part. I'll just take 2 more minutes on the obligation side. On the obligation, the same book quotes the charter. You should be honest, you should be compliant, you should pay it in time. Now, let me make it very clear to the panel and to the people who are listening. 80-85% there is no issue at all. things are happening on its own strength. What we are discussing is about 10 to 15% of issues, okay, in tax matters, of which there are serious evasions, very, very deep-rooted, large-scale, premeditated, serious evasions happening in the country. Somebody is exporting some very precious stone, and for 5 years, his bank account doesn't receive even a copper. What do you do with him? Somebody is producing a very, very high-rated tax product, and he purchases something of worth 50 rupees. He masks it with 10 times of re-invoicing under the GST scheme, goes and claims an export refund of 15,000 rupees. A 50 rupee product is claimed as an export refund of 15,000 rupees. 1,000 crores evasion. Now, so when you say obligation, have we matured as a society to be a society which is tax compliant? We don't need GST at all if you are a mature society. What does US do? You have only a retail tax. The last purchase of a mobile phone is taxed. Nothing else is taxed at the anterior stage. Can you afford to do that here in India at this point of time? Nobody will pay tax. Because the last mile retail trade is yet to be completely brought in sync. So there are issues ranging 10 to 15%, where the rights versus the obligation is always a challenge. And resolutions happen in the judicial forum. Bureaucracy can move forward a little more, and they are. But more importantly, evasive-prone industries and evasion-prone assessees, which out of this 15% are a significant number. You won't believe the kind of income tax violations, because I'm seeing this now in the government side. There are 4 or 5 important centers from where very methodical evasions are happening. Manipulations are happening. So how do we, when you write a book on the charter, we should also now author a book on these aspects, educate them. How do you bring it up together? Then this charter will be a fulfilling success at some point of time. Namaste.